Davos has long claimed to champion inclusivity and sustainability, but its practices tell another story. The 10 richest men make on average $100 million a day.
What if I told you
while 44%
that the most inclusive
of the
movement of our
population
time
continues to
isn't
live
about
on less than
justice or
$7
equality
a
at all,
day?
but about control? In boardrooms across the world, powerful corporations are being rewarded not for how well they serve customers, but for how well they obey a checklist: environmental, social, and governance. It sounds harmless, but this score is reshaping everything from the ads you see to the opinions you're allowed to have. And the scary part? The people profiting from it don't want you to notice. This is not just a story about politics, it's about money, manipulation, and a hidden game being played with your values. This is the truth behind the trend. Part 1. Danger behind 3 letters. All right, let's zoom out for a second and really ask, where does all this actually come from? At the root of it, it's not about kindness. It's not even about ideology. It's about money and the power that comes with it. We're living in a global financial system so abstract, so detached from everyday reality that most people can't even begin to understand it. There's an estimated $400 trillion in financial instruments floating around the bond markets. Most of it is paper, or more accurately, digital illusion. And it's all designed to maintain control, not to benefit the average person. Now, every major corporation, whether in tech, finance, retail, or media, is integrated into that system. The money flows through everything. And at the heart of it, it's all about perception and profit, especially when it comes to advertising. If you go viral, if your podcast pops, if your video surges, congrats, you're in. They'll throw tens of millions of dollars at you just to ride the wave. Not because they believe in what you're saying, but because they want the numbers. But here's the kicker. If you step out of line, if you stop playing the game, if your hit suddenly becomes inconvenient, your income can vanish overnight. Which brings us to ESG. Ever heard of it? If not, buckle up. ESG stands for Environmental, Social, and Governance. It's a score, a rating, a pseudo-ethical measuring stick that companies now flash on their investor pages. Want to look progressive? Just check the right boxes, wave the right flags, and say the right words. It's like corporate cosplay. Say you care about the environment, you score higher. Mention carbon credits, net zero targets, score goes up. Say all the right buzzwords during Pride Month. Throw some rainbow filters on your ad campaign. G Gold Star. But what's actually happening is that these scores are being used to control markets to decide who gets investment and who doesn't. Insurance giants and institutional investors are being nudged, even pressured, to only fund companies that perform well on this scale. So what happens? Companies shift. Not because they believe it, but because they need to appear like they do. That's why you see brands going all in during Pride Month. It's low-cost, high-return virtue signaling. Investors stay happy. Executives stay rich. This isn't about morality. It's a corporate compliance machine, powered by an algorithm of wokeness. And if you think that's too cynical, just take a peek at how scores are assigned. Want proof? Look at Nike. ESG score, around 75, decent. Now look at Tesla. You'd think a green car company would kill it, right? Nope. Their score hovers around the 30s. Why? Think again. Elon Musk buys Twitter, and suddenly Tesla's social score tanks. Overnight. Not because the cars changed, not because the company violated any new rule, but because Musk stepped out of line politically. Suddenly, Tesla was problematic. They were even accused of racism conveniently, right after Musk disrupted a certain narrative. That's not environmental. That's not governance. That's ideological enforcement. And there's an entire bureaucracy behind this. Check out SASB, the Sustainability Accounting Standards Board. They literally build the formulas companies use to determine their ESG standing. It's like a credit score, but for political compliance. Part 2, a bigger game. And all of it? All of it funnels back to a bigger game. Increasing shareholder value, not necessarily profit. It's subtle, but it matters. Here's how it works. When interest rates are low, near zero, big corporations can borrow massive amounts of money almost for free. They take that cash, buy back their own stock, and artificially pump the price. Everyone holding shares, the CEO, the board, the executives, wins big. And guess what boosts stock performance these days? ESG approval. That woke ad you saw last week? That wasn't for you. That was for investors. That was to keep the board happy. That was to protect the stock. The document I'm referencing is publicly available. It's right there on the Harvard Law School website. It outlines how corporate bonuses can be tied directly to ESG compliance. That's right, executives can boost their governance scores by rewarding themselves with bonuses for hitting environmental, social, and governance targets. Now think about that for a second. You literally increase your score by cutting yourself a check for following a political framework. If that doesn't scream conflict of interest, what does? And it's not just a checkbox thing. These ESG scores, and especially the governance part, have become powerful leverage tools. Want a good score? You'd better start reshaping your board. Add activists. Make sure 30% GR are women. Meet diversity, equity, and inclusion DEI quotas. It doesn't matter if it helps the company. It matters if it checks the right ideological boxes. Part 3. Hidden in plain sight. And if you think that's where it ends, let's go one layer deeper. One of the most influential components of ESG scoring is the Corporate Equality Index, or CEI. This isn't just about treating LGBTQ employees fairly. This is about promoting specific agendas, lobbying for particular legislation, and even sponsoring certain events. The Human Rights Campaign, which issues the CEI, doesn't just want neutrality. They want alignment, active participation. You remember when airlines were pressured to fly activists to pride parades for free? That wasn't a gesture of goodwill. It was part of their CEI compliance. And if a company doesn't fall in line, their score drops, publicly, punishingly. Take the Bud Light controversy with Dylan Mulvaney, for example. That wasn't just a marketing stunt. It was tied to their CEI score. The moment Bud Light faced backlash and didn't defend the move, their score got threatened. And once that score drops, it sends a signal to shareholders, investors, and the market. You're not playing the game right. Disney's recent content shift isn't just creative, it's calculated. Once known for its magic, now known for its messaging. Films once built to inspire kids are now riddled with ideological subtext, gender debates, and identity experiments disguised as fairy tales. And if you speak out, you're the villain of the story. But here's what they don't want you to see. Behind the castle walls, the true storytellers are BlackRock and Vanguard, the real majority shareholders. And they're not making movies. They're shaping narratives. Don't get me wrong. Most of us want to do good. We want people treated fairly. We support human dignity. But that's what makes this so effective. It uses our better instincts against us. It co-opts terms like community, LGBTQ plus community, Black and brown community, and turns them into marketing categories. Not real communities, not actual neighborhoods. Just demographic levers used to trigger investment behaviors and social responses. And inside those categories, there's no unity. The L's don't always align with the G's. The T's often feel alienated. But none of that matters to the machine. The system doesn't care. It just wants you to nod, comply, and consume. The goal here is simple. Use these metrics to funnel trillions of dollars into what's called activist investing. That means investment firms steer your money, if you're in mutual funds or retirement plans, into companies that push the right messages. Not necessarily the best products or performance, just the best politics. What we're looking at isn't just political correctness. It's institutionalized, monetized morality, a performative system designed to control behavior, enforce conformity, and extract profit, all under the banner of virtue. Even defense contractors, the companies previously labeled as socially irresponsible due to their connection to war, saw their scores flip when the war in Ukraine broke out. Missiles became a social good, and the ratings changed overnight. The truth is, this didn't necessarily start out as a scheme. Back in the early 2000s, ESG might have just been about sustainability, maybe a genuine effort to protect the environment or improve governance. But today, it's something very different. It's a corporate social credit system, a mechanism for enforcing compliance with ideological goals, whether or not they align with your values or the company's mission. And we know this isn't a guess. People at the top have said it out loud.
BlackRock, we are forcing behaviors. If you don't achieve these levels of impact, your compensation could be impacted, okay? You have to force behaviors. you're going to be impacted.
Part 4. Lurking in the shadows. On the surface, promoting diversity in the workplace sounds like progress, a noble cause, a celebration of inclusion. But dig a little deeper and you'll find something far more strategic and far less benevolent. Because here's the quiet truth. Diversity can be used as a tool to prevent unity. When every worker looks different, speaks a different language, holds a different cultural worldview, it becomes harder to organize, harder to build trust, harder to form bonds that lead to collective action like unions. Corporations know this. They know that the more fragmented we are, the less likely we are to rise up together. So instead of solidarity, they service identity segmentation wrapped in feel-good slogans. Now take that same strategy and apply it globally. Encourage mass migration into countries with already fragile social contracts. Shift demographics overnight. Don't build bridges, build tension. Create the conditions for division, then profit from managing the chaos. Meanwhile, the cultural foundations that once held societies together, shared values, family structures, even national identity, are reframed as problems to be deconstructed. And at the heart of it, one consistent pattern emerges. Separate people from anything that makes them strong. Families, break them down. Teach kids they can be anything, even change their sex at will, and then threaten to remove them from their parents if those parents dare to question it. It's framed as empowerment. But the real power belongs to whoever gets to define the new rules. Because when people are isolated, when they're uncertain about who they are, where they belong, or whom they can trust, they're easier to manage, easier to manipulate, easier to sell to, distract, and control.
In a world where narratives are sold like products and values are leveraged like stocks, the line between belief and branding has never been blurrier.
Political correctness didn't just happen. It was engineered. So, before you raise that next flag or change your logo for the month, ask yourself, who profits from your virtue? If this video made you rethink the system even for a second, hit that like button. Share it with someone who still thinks woke is just about kindness. And subscribe, because the next episode will take you even deeper into how the cultural playbook is being rewritten. And you're not supposed to know this.